Here is something no finance minister will say out loud at a press conference. They are not trying to pay off the debt. Not really. Not ever. And the terrifying part, that might be exactly the right strategy. We have been told since childhood that debt is dangerous, that you borrow, you repay, you get back to zero. Governments, we assume, follow the same logic, just bigger numbers, more zeros, same principle. But what if the entire framework is wrong? What if the goal was never to pay it back, and the people running the largest economies on Earth? Here is something no finance minister will say out loud at a press conference. They are not trying to pay off the debt. Not really. Not ever. And the terrifying part, that might be exactly the right strategy. We have been told since childhood that debt is dangerous, that you borrow, you repay, you get back to zero. Governments, we assume, follow the same logic, just bigger numbers, more zeros, same principle. But what if the entire framework is wrong? What if the goal was never to pay it back, and the people running the largest economies on Earth have known this for decades? Let us start with a number. $36 trillion. That is the current national debt of the United States. If you tried to count to 36 trillion, one number per second, you would be counting for over 1 million years. You would not make it. Your civilization might not make it. And yet, every single morning, the US Treasury opens for business. Bond markets function. Interest gets paid. Investors from Tokyo to London line up to lend more money to a government that has not run a meaningful surplus since 2001. Nobody is panicking. That should make you curious. Because either the entire global financial system is one bad Tuesday away from collapse, or there is something fundamentally different about how government debt actually works. The answer, it turns out, is both uncomfortable and elegant. To understand it, you need to go back to a small island in the 18th century. Britain, 1694. The country is broke. It has just fought a series of expensive wars against France. The treasury is empty, and King William III needs money, fast. A group of wealthy merchants and financiers offers a deal. They will lend the crown £1.2 million. In exchange, they get a royal charter to form a bank that can issue currency, a bank that can lend money it does not fully have. That bank is the Bank of England. And the loan? It was never fully repaid. Parts of the original debt from 1694 were still on the books in 2015 when the British government quietly retired some of its oldest bonds, some dating back over 300 years. 300 years of rolling debt. 300 years of Britain functioning as a global empire, a World War survivor, a modern democracy. The lesson was not that Britain was irresponsible. The lesson was that sovereign debt does not work like a mortgage. Here's the mechanism, and this is where it gets interesting. When you or I borrow money, we have one job: pay it back. The lender wants their principal returned. Our income does not grow fast enough to make the debt irrelevant. We age, we retire, the clock works against us. Governments operate in a completely different dimension. A country does not retire. It has no fixed income. It has the ability, within limits, to expand its economy, increase its tax base, and, crucially, issue currency. So the real question is never whether the debt is large. The real question is whether the debt is growing faster than the economy. This is the ratio that actually matters: debt to GDP. Think of it this way. Imagine you owe $100,000. Sounds frightening. Now imagine your annual income is $50,000. Your debt-to-income ratio is 200%. That's alarming. Now imagine your income doubles every 10 years. Suddenly the 100,000 becomes manageable, then small, then irrelevant, even if you never paid a single dollar of principal. That's the government's play. Not elimination, dilution. Grow the economy faster than the debt, or at minimum, grow them together. The absolute number keeps rising, but the ratio, the thing that actually determines sustainability, stays controlled. Now here's the part they don't put in the press release. This system requires something very specific to keep working. It requires that people never stop believing in it. Government debt, particularly US Treasury bonds, is not valuable because of gold reserves or oil fields or any physical asset. It's valuable because the global financial system has decided collectively that it is valuable. Treasuries are the bedrock of global trade.
They are what central banks hold as reserves. They are what money market funds park cash in overnight. The dollar is trusted because it is trusted, which sounds circular because it is. And this is where the system gets quietly absurd. The United States can borrow money at relatively low interest rates, in part because it's considered safe, and it's considered safe in part because it has always been able to borrow money. The confidence is self-reinforcing right up until the moment it isn't. There have been moments, August 2011, the debt ceiling standoff of 2023, where that confidence flickered. Markets noticed. Credit rating agencies downgraded U.S. debt for the first time in history. And even then, investors fled to U.S. Treasuries for safety. From the crisis, into the thing causing the crisis. You can't make this up. So why do governments actively want debt to grow? 3 reasons, and none of them are accidental. First, spending without political pain. Taxes are visible, unpopular. They require a politician to look someone in the eye and say, "You are paying more." Debt is invisible in the short term. You borrow today, someone else deals with it later. Every political incentive points towards borrowing. Second, debt funds the things that make debt sustainable. Infrastructure, education, defense, research. A government that borrows to build a highway that enables 30 years of commerce is not being reckless, it's making an investment. The return comes in the form of economic growth, which reduces the debt ratio, which makes the next borrowing cheaper. It's a flywheel. It works until it doesn't. And third, and this is the one economists argue about most, some level of government debt is necessary for the financial system to function. Banks need safe assets. Pension funds need stable returns. Central banks need instruments to conduct monetary policy. If governments stopped issuing debt tomorrow, they would break the machinery of global finance. The demand for government bonds is not just large, in many ways it's structural. Debt, in other words, is infrastructure. But here's where the narrative has to be honest. There's a version of this that works, and there's a version that doesn't. Japan has a debt-to-GDP ratio of over 250%. It has for years, and Japan has not collapsed. Interest rates stayed low. Society functions. The economy muddles along. But Japan also has a unique set of conditions, a domestic savings culture that keeps most of the debt held internally, a central bank willing to buy bonds in unlimited quantities, and decades of near-zero inflation. Remove any one of those factors, and the calculus changes completely. The United States is not Japan. It has higher interest payments, higher inflation sensitivity, and a political system structurally incapable of agreeing on fiscal discipline. In 2023, the U.S. spent more on interest payments on its debt than on its entire defense budget. That was a first, and it won't be the last. When debt grows because you're investing in productive capacity, you can defend it. When debt grows because you can't afford your existing obligations without borrowing more to pay the interest on your previous borrowing, that's a different animal entirely. That's a spiral. Slower than people imagine, but real. Zoom out far enough, and you see the strange, quiet gamble at the center of modern economics. Every major government on Earth is, to varying degrees, betting that tomorrow's growth will validate today's borrowing, that technology will expand productivity, that demographics will recover, that some combination of inflation, growth, and political will can keep the ratio manageable. It has worked broadly for 80 years since the post-war era. The architecture of Bretton Woods, the dominance of the dollar, the expansion of global trade, all of it created an environment where the bet paid off. But the conditions that made it work are shifting. Aging populations, slower growth, rising geopolitical fragmentation, the dollar's share of global reserves declining slowly, year by year, as alternative systems are tested. The system isn't breaking, but it is being renegotiated. So the next time